Welcome to today's upper body mobility class. This is going to be a simple follow along session. We're going to start off with just a little bit of breathing basics. The first move I like to call a 90-90. For setup, what you want to do is you're going to lie back like so. You're going to plant your feet on the wall. Now I'm just using the stall bars because they're here. They actually are a good tool for you to help understanding using the posterior chain like your hamstrings in order to lift your hips off of the ground. That's in essence, that's the first cue. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing into the wall just a little bit, and I'm using my heels to drag my back pockets up. So it can help to have your hands down on your hips like this. So again, one more time, I'm just taking a big inhale, tucking my hips under. I'm not doing a big lift here. This is a very small tuck of the hips. I should be able to keep my waistband on the ground. From here, I'm going to take an inhale through the nose and an exhale from the mouth. Trying to maintain just a little bit of tension in the hamstrings. So we're going to do about 5 cycles, just in through the nose, out from the mouth. Just noticing how the chest and belly rise on the inhale. On the exhale, they descend. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the arms and we're going to bring them down to a low reach like this. So I have my hands rotated up and my palms facing the ceiling. And then we're going to take an inhale through the nose and an exhale through the mouth. Now this exhale is going to be a big, long, drawn out exhale. I'm going to try to focus on sighing like I'm trying to fog a mirror, like so. Now what we don't want to do is we don't want to lose tension or contact with the wall. So a lot of times what's common is the foot will slide out. We want to make sure that we keep contact with the wall the entire time. And then after, so the inhale is through the nose, the exhale is from the mouth, and what we're looking for is a 4-second inhale and a 8-second exhale. So this should really help us contract and draw down the rib cage and really help us press the diaphragm down and creating a shrink wrap throughout the midline. So again, inhale through the nose, exhale from the mouth. The next step that we want to incorporate is actually sealing the mouth down or closing the mouth after the exhale. And if we do that correctly, we should be able to maintain that brace and then sneak an inhale in through the nose. So that's going to look like the following. So if I did my job right, what should happen is the breathing should go from lower in the stomach area into the rib cage. So this is in essence stretching from the inside out. So again, I'll take a big inhale through the nose. We're going to repeat this for 5 cycles. So in through the nose, trying to get air all the way into the upper back. Exhale from the mouth. holding. Whew. After about 5 breaths or so, I'm going to jump on up. And now we're going to go through some basic spinal segmentations. So with this one, I'm just going to set up in a half kneeling support. And in essence, what I want to do is take a big inhale like we just did, working on filling up the upper back and tucking the pelvis under. Then I'm going to make sure that I'm not shrugging in the ears, and I'm going to slowly start from the bottom of the spine, just working on tilting only the hips. So my upper body, as much as I can, is staying in a protracted and rounded position. So I'm pushing through the ground. I like to pretend I'm pushing a car here, so just keeping the upper body active, and then just slowly working your way from the bottom of your spine to the top of your spine. Using me as your pace car. A lot of us like to rush this here. So in this position, it's very common for us to want to sink in the shoulder blades. We want to actually avoid that. Press through the ground as if we were sliding the hands back. So once I reach the top of my head, I'll just start in the opposite direction. So now I'm actually going to keep the lights shining. I like to pretend there's a light on the bottom of my chest, and I'm shining that light on the wall that's in front of me, and I'm going to maintain that there, slight drag of the hands backwards, and then I'm just going to start from the bottom of the spine. Now, if you haven't done this before, this is way more challenging than it looks. Now I'm doing my best to keep the extension in the upper back while bringing the lower back slowly into a posterior pelvic tilt, and just working the way from the bottom of the spine to the top of the spine. Is mine perfect? No. Work on it. And it's definitely better than it was yesterday. So from here, I'm going to go from the top to the bottom. So long, extended arms, rounded back. Take a big inhale, fill up the upper back. Exhale, then start from the crown of the head. So a lot of us like to just kind of crank the neck back here. I want you to think about the chin getting knocked back and then coming into extension. You don't need too much extension here. And then from here, again, keeping the bottom tucked under. Just gonna start working on this upper back stuff. Trying to pretend I'm hitting my head against the wall, and then just slowly not sinking in the shoulder blades again. Using all the back stuff. This middle section right here is really challenging. Alright, that's it for spinal segmentation. Usually like to shake it out just a little bit before we keep moving. From here, we're going to get into some scapula C.A.R.S. So these are supported scapula C.A.R.S. Now, what I like to do is just start with my hands slightly in front of me, sit back just a little bit, take a big inhale. So this is the start position. We call this protraction, which just basically means I'm wrapping my shoulder blades around my rib cage. Then from here, we're going to bring the shoulder blades up We're gonna sink into the bottom of the shoulder blades, not dropping the head, just from the shoulder blades. Then we're gonna make sure that we pull our shoulder blades all the way back as far as we can. And then we're just gonna push around the rib cage back to that starting position. So ideally, the midsection is just staying neutral, the spine or the neck is staying neutral, and we are just moving the scapula. So down, around. We're gonna do one more of those. Shoulders are already on fire, chest is on fire. Then from here, we're just gonna come up, back, down, and around. Gonna hit it in reverse. No breaks, right into it, guys. We're just gonna go pinch. Sliding the hands back seems to help me out here a little bit. We're gonna roll the shoulders up all the way over to the front. And then we'll just go together. Really pulling the shoulders away from your ears here. And then we're just gonna roll them up and then over. One more low, stick with me, my friends. Pull them down and around. Awesome. We're gonna modify the seat position just a little bit. So if you sit back like this is gonna make the shoulder car just a little bit more intense. Now, if you are new to this type of training, just stay in this kneeling position. So I'm gonna come on back to a full kneel. I'm gonna take my right arm and I'm gonna extend it out. So this is gonna be my post arm. I'm really gonna focus on pushing through this arm. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep a neutral gaze. So if you're doing this full kneeling support where your bottom is on your heels, that's gonna be slightly downward like this. And then you're gonna take a big breath so you're not sinking in this shoulder, you're already really active through this shoulder. I like to bring it slightly in so I can avoid any rotation through the upper back. Then I'm gonna take my arm up like this, and then I'm just gonna rotate. So I'm trying to really squeeze as much of this external rotation as I can out before I come all the way around the back side. So as I come around the back side, I'm just going to rotate my thumb down, internally rotating my shoulder all the way back till it's behind me in extension. From here, I'm just gonna reach as far as I can behind me till it comes all the way down by my side. I like to do a quick check-in, make sure everything's lined up. So take a big inhale, exhale, get a little extra length through that right arm. Then you're gonna reach back and just reverse the pattern. All the way back around to the front end of this. And then we'll just repeat till desired effect. We're gonna do about 3 reps. This is just a quick intro. Also a good warm up before we get into an upper body session. I think it's just crazy how much just changing the position of the body can really influence or make something as simple as a shoulder car much more challenging. Awesome. So again, I'm your pace car. Try to stick with me. Really focus on taking your time and controlling each part of these movements. So again, left arm down, big inhale. Then from here, we're just gonna ride it around town. Really scraping that backside as we rotate back to the start position. So again, it's palm up, pushing through the left arm, slowly squeezing as much range of motion as we can. Don't lose tension in that left arm. One more rep. All right, stay with me, guys. So for me, this right side is tougher on the back end, a little easier on the front end. So I work on really slowing down the parts that I want to rush. Awesome, guys. So we are absolutely killing it. We're going to move on to the next section. So for this next section, you are going to need a box and you are going to need a broomstick. So we've got our setup. Now, in essence, what we're going to do is you'll have a broomstick, a beam, some type of rod. It doesn't really necessarily matter. I'm going to use this mace. Hopefully it doesn't fall over and smack me in the head. We'll put it down first. What we're going to do is we're going to start in this support position. Now, I like to find the stretch before I even get into holding on to anything. So what we want to do is find a 90-degree angle with this outside elbow. So this outside elbow is the one that we're going to focus on. Now, the reason we like this version of the stretch is because it allows us to really focus on bracing and maintaining our midline. See, so I'm maintaining this midline, I'm pushing through this support position, and then I'm going to be right here on the edge of my support. Now the first thing I do is I tack my elbow down like this, and I do just a slight opening of the chest. I take a big inhale. On the exhale, I'm going to think about scooping my arm or my shoulder blade back. So I like to pretend there's a laser pointer on the armpit, and I'm trying to get that laser pointer to come around and point in front of me, right? Whatever the shoulder blade does, that's what the shoulder blade does. So I'm here, I'm like, scoop, I'm getting that laser, which is causing my arm to rise. But that is the setup. Now, once I have that set up, you basically come over, and you're going to do that scooping motion, find as much range of motion as you can, and you should feel most of the stretch on the front side of the shoulder. So in this position, I'm slightly pulling myself in the right direction, towards the right. I'm taking big inhales. And making sure that I'm not overextending in the rib cage. I shouldn't be tilted or arching or anything like that in order to get extra range. I should actually be pushing through. Very similar to how we started off the day. And we're just going to take big, long, drawn out breaths here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. My body naturally wants to rotate over towards this left arm because it wants to run away from the stretch. None of that. So I'm slightly rotating outward. And you'll really feel how that intensifies the stretch. So sounds like a good time for some iso ramping. So iso ramping is, in essence, what you're going to do is you're going to take a big inhale, create just a little bit of tension throughout your body, and then you're going to exhale. You're going to try to sink just a little deeper into that stretch. Awesome. We're going to take 3 more breaths just like that, a little bit of tension. Keeping the stretch on the front side of this left shoulder. Get a little bit of expansion on those inhales. And then after that, we're going to do some isometric contractions. The first one is called a P.A.I.L contraction, which would basically be activating the tissues on the front side, the ones that are now being lengthened. So you'll do that by pressing down as if you were trying to drive your broomstick into the ground. So what I like to do is once I find that front stuff, I like to just drive up the tension. 40%, 50%. Slowly ramping up that tension. Then we're going to try to find the backside tissue. So we're going to get that laser pointer and use the back stuff to lift and rotate as if we're trying to pull that stake out of the ground. Woo! Awesome. So that's P.A.I.L and R.A.I.L on the left side. I'm going to make everything even on the right side. Whew. That is no joke, my friends. So again, set up. We're going to come over, we're going to find this 90-degree position. We're going to find that stretch on the front side by rotating away like this. Now, from here, once I find that front side stuff, I'm going to use that laser, and I'm just going to point that laser So then I'm just going to point that laser and just slowly climb up. You'll notice my right side is much better. So again, chest wants to rotate towards us. You're going to rotate away from this. You're going to tuck the tail under and you're going to start breathing. You should feel the stretch on the front side. Trying to keep a neutral gaze. Trying to make sure that the chest is not overextending. Keeping the chest in. Just trying to max and relax. Go into a little bit of that iso ramping again, so just slight downward pressure when you inhale. And relax when you exhale. About 3 more breaths there. In, down towards the ground. Out. Pressing into the ground. Rotating the chest away from that shoulder. Just letting that tension melt away. So I'm pulling the rib cage up and back, pushing through the left arm. And I'm going to slightly press down, finding the front side tissues, and just activate. I'm just going to ramp that up. Pressing down just a little bit harder. Ramping the tension as if I'm trying to drive that stake through the ground. 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to go the opposite direction, so as if we're trying to lift that up. So just get that laser pointer, shine it on the wall behind you, activate that back stuff. Once you find the back stuff, ramp up the tension. Alright, so now we got the external rotators. Flip it around. We're going to get the internal rotators. So, set up for this one. We're going to come into this bear sit position. We're going to take this right arm. We're going to make sure that we take our chest. We breathe back just a little bit. Now, if you are unable to just sit here comfortably, you don't have access or you don't have a neutral spine, so you're slouched over, it's totally okay to take some props and just sit on that. So in essence, this stretch is going to look like the following. I'm going to take a big inhale, make sure I have lots of space back here, right? I don't want my shoulder to slump over in order to make this range of motion happen. So we need to use the shoulder blades to keep that back and down. And then we're just going to take a big inhale. So this right arm here is the one that is getting the stretch. I should feel primarily most of the stretch on this back end right here. So again, I'm just using ISO ramping, just big inhales, trying to get as much space as I can, or trying to fill up as much space as I can in the rib cage. Watching that I'm not rotating away from this. Like I said, trying to keep most of the stretch back here. The shoulder internal range of motion is actually my worst enemy. I can see myself or feel myself in my head already being like, we're done with this one. That right side does not appreciate this. And believe it or not, this has actually improved quite a bit. So from here, I'm just gonna take a big inhale. And then we're going to drive. So I'm finding all this backside stuff, and I'm using that to do the world's greatest backhand. So I'm literally backhanding shoulder internal rotation right now, feeling this stuff back here and just ramping up that tension, taking all my anger out on my stiff shoulders. Awesome. After I ramp that up for about 10 seconds, as high as I comfortably can, we're going to do rails. So that's going to be this inside stuff. Pec, bicep, a little bit of anterior delt. And in essence, what we're going to do is we're just going to provide resistance from this bottom arm. We're just going to press down into that bottom arm. Body wants to rotate away. Don't let it happen. Filling up air on the back side, ramping up tension. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. And even though we're not working the hips, mine are on fire. All right. Now from here, and the seated position for me, honestly, I'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable with the block. But we're gonna get right into the left side. So we're gonna go big inhale. Now, you'll notice that just like the left side was tight on external rotation, or actually, yeah, the left side, it's actually much better at internal rotation. Again, really feeling the stretch back here. Using that ISO ramping technique where I'm basically inhaling through the nose with a little bit of upward tension and then exhaling and trying to relax deeper into the stretch. At no time should I feel it on the front side. I should always feel it on this back side back here. So it should be pulling back there. I'll take about 5 more breaths here. Just trying to sneak as much range as I can. Awesome. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and do P.A.I.Ls, which is gonna be driving using this backside stuff to get the world's greatest backhand. I find about 10% tension, 20% tension. Ramping up higher. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna switch sides. Again, using the pec, bicep, front stuff to press down into the ground. Not allowing the rib cage to shift. Woo! Okay. That's P.A.I.Ls. That's P.A.I.Ls. Shoulders are already feeling great. Now we want to use them. So in essence, what we're going to do, we're gonna stick with that bear squat. So shake it out if you need to. And what we're going to do is called a controlled swimmer. And so the seated position is going to make this challenging, but we're going to do our best. We're going to take our arms and we're going to start with them behind the back. So this is that internal rotation that we were just practicing. So I just take a big inhale. Try to get the shoulder blades back away from the body. I reach, punch back, staying tall as I can. I'm going to rotate. Then I'm just going to bring the arms all the way through a T position, rotating till my palms are facing up. Once I get to this Y position, squeeze as much rotation, get those lasers on the walls in front of you, and then just reach behind the head. So from here, I pull my shoulders down, I reach back up, bring it all the way around town. Reaching as far like I'm trying to give a big bear hug behind me. Placing the arms behind the back, I do a little, get some expansion. Pull the shoulders back, reach as far as I can. Rotate. Right at that Y position, we'll just pull the arms behind the back. Just finishing strong, big bear hug behind you. One more time. Awesome. The hip flexors on fire. I'm gonna do one last cool down here. Now, if you don't have stall bars, you could do this on the edge of a door frame. But in essence, what you're gonna do is you're gonna reach across your body. You're gonna reach across your body. You're gonna shift the rib cage back just a little bit. You're gonna take a big inhale. And so what you're trying to do is get expansion. This is my right side, it's my tough side, but trying to get expansion right here in the rib cage. So if you're really tight, you want to turn that cross out just a little bit and then lean over. So again, I'm here. This is my tight side. I'm going to work on this. I'm just going to work on biasing and getting as much air as I can. So you can actually put the hand here, and then you're going to seal the mouth. Get as much expansion as you can. Hold that in, and then exhale. Soft sigh. Then seal the mouth. Inhale. Expanding into the hand, holding that in. Exhale. Then again. So this is helping us cool down and regulate. It's also basically stretching from the inside out. If your rib cage is tied down, your shoulders can't function properly. One more breath for good luck. freedom. All right, so let's cross over to the other side. So again, I just create a little bit of a lateral rotation, so my arms just slightly across my body. And then from here, we're gonna shift the rib cage over, take the hand reach around this back side, and that's where the breathing starts. So even though it's much easier for me on this side to get expansion, coincidentally, the one that internal rotation's a little better with. Which makes sense. So again, just letting this wrap around. I find on the left side, I've got to like almost like lean back a little bit more to not lose it up here. All right, great shoulder workout. See you next time, guys.